sports is such a small part of who I am. My personality would say otherwise, but growing up, I didn't have a favorite athlete. And I've never been inspired to be a better athlete by seeing athletes. My mom raising me single and my uncle being there to be able to help, he was only a teenager as well. That's what inspires me, is people who have the odds stacked against them. Knowing how talented her and my uncle are, but they weren't given the opportunities that I was because they didn't have the resources that they provided for me. I can only imagine what my mom would have been able to accomplish if she had herself grown up. I'll never forget, it was my senior year in high school, and my coach was talking to my mom, and he says, Roderick is one of the least talented people on the team. He works really, really hard. That's gonna take him far. And I was sitting there like, thanks, coach. I mean, that was even one of our mottos, you know, just hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. So myself, particularly at birth, the umbilical cord was wrapped around my neck and the doctor had to dislocate my shoulder and break my collarbone. And in doing so, all the nerves in my brachial plexus were damaged. So initially, I didn't have any movement of my right arm. A lot of people don't recover from that and live the rest of their lives without the ability to move that arm. As a Paralympian, I compete against other people with arm and hand disabilities. So whether they're missing a hand, a whole arm, or both arms, so I'm categorized as a T46. Blind people compete against other blind people. People with arm disabilities compete with other arm disabilities. People with neurological disabilities, such as cerebral palsy, compete against one another as well. It's awesome because I'm able to compete in both the able-bodied track and field world and the Paralympic track and field world. Coach Lauren Seals now, the track and field coach at Delta College, her goal for me was always to be the best decathlete in the country or in the state or in the conference. So whether or not I had a disability, it wasn't like I was gonna get any handicap points at a competition. You know, I still gotta show up and jump higher, jump further, throw further, and do everything better than anybody else could, essentially. With my impairment, pole vault is one of the events that I was surprised I was even capable of doing. It wasn't until the pole vault coach at Delta College, I almost said Adam Sandler, Coach Sandler. Coach Sandler, he told me, yeah, you don't really need that right arm nearly as much as you think you do. Just press it the best you can and hold on with that left arm for your life. When I won my first gold medal, that morning I was on a recruiting call because that was the only opportunity that she had to meet as well. As soon as I was off that call, I had to write an essay and finish up a project for my master's program. Then I went and got on the bus and drove to the track where I won my first gold medal. I vividly remember in that moment, I was stressing out and I had to stop and remind myself, man, you were coaching at a Division I university, getting a master's degree paid for, and you about to go jump and represent Team USA. You got blessings on blessings and you out here stressed out? So many of us in our lives, man, we get stressed out because, I gotta go do this and then I gotta go home and, you know, my kids, yada, yada, yada. And it's like, okay, so you got a full-time job that you probably love doing, but it's stressful right now. Then you got to go home to your family that loves you. I got a house. I got folks flying out here to talk to me because apparently I'm interesting. You know, there's so much good to be happy about that the stress is just something that's not needed and it never helps. Honestly, I can have a terrible week of practice and think, wow, hey, I'm gonna be good this weekend because I didn't get none of my high jumps out the way early this week, so hey, we ready. On the flip side, I could have a great week of practice and say, oh man, I've been jumping well all week. It's gonna go crazy today. Whereas after the competition, I can really sit back and say, okay, well, this went wrong, this went wrong. You know, well, you did deal with this beforehand, and just being able to logically evaluate the situation. And for myself, it's so critical to be able to flip that switch, especially, you know, most of us elite athletes, we don't have coaches at every competition with us. So we can't sit and linger on what went wrong if we're not constructively trying to find out what went wrong. I definitely find so much of my motivation for the events that I've not won. So I've never won a world championships in the long jump. I've gotten 2 silvers and 1 like 5th place certificate that they sent me in the mail. I mean, the 100-meter dash especially, I've never even gotten a medal. All I'm seeing is backs and elbows during those races. So For myself, it really drives me during training and just understanding that, hey, there's still so much room for you to progress. I know that I may have a high jump world record. However, how can I continue to progress, continue to get better? So finding those deficiencies while at the same time not being so hard on myself that I don't ever take a chance to appreciate how far I've come. I feel like a lot of times we focus so much on, well, I gotta get better, I gotta get better, I gotta get better, that we don't ever stop and look at how much better we've actually become. Competitiveness is a skill that can transcend in other aspects of your life, and it's just a matter of knowing how to do it. The way that I approach athletics is really transcended into many aspects of my life. When I look into, how successful I'm becoming in real estate and how much work I'm putting into the community, like that same tenacity drives me in everything that I do. And it's something that I didn't realize that I could tap into. It didn't come naturally to me that, hey, you compete in this, you can compete in other aspects of your life as well. And it wasn't until I was in college that I realized, like, hey, you can be way better in school than you have been. And it came down to, oh, we got an essay to write. I'm gonna write a better essay than anybody else in this class, and I'm gonna show you. We're working on basically being able to give suits to young men in the community who are getting ready for job interviews or college interviews or whatever the case is, because so much of it just comes down to being able to be presentable. And I'm working on some opportunities with local tradesmen in the community to be able to build this network of people who know people. So much of it is also about, who do you know and what's your network looking like? And just trying to build that network so that if they do go to college, they can come back, or everybody knows somebody, man, and just allowing these younger guys to have a chance, basically. It's super exciting that Ralph Lauren is able to help me in that way. And when they asked, well, how can we help you? My answer was, I need help helping other people. It's so much about finding out what you want to do and why you're doing it. It's really tough to set a goal when you don't know why you want to have that goal. Once you know why you're doing what you're doing, it's so much easier to work hard. It's so much easier to apply pressure. It's so much easier to progress and deal with defeat and failure when you know why you're doing something. So if you don't have that why, that first failure can, stop you from experiencing, your greatest victory. What pushes me to keep excelling on the track is knowing that although I am a world record holder in Paralympics, it's exciting to see that there's still so much competition out there. My personal best is 2:21. When I'm going to all these competitions, I'm jumping against Derek Druin, Eric Kennard, all of these other Olympians whose personal bests are 2:35, 2:40, and just understanding that, man, I want to be that guy still. There's still so much room for growth. I still want to jump at the Olympic trials. I still want to go out there and compete. That's still what motivates me, just like it does so many other people, because before I was a Paralympian, I was a track athlete. I'm still a track athlete.